Good morning and welcome. In today's message, I want to share with the youth of India, particularly the Christian youth, something about Rahul Gandhi. I had the occasion to meet Rahul for the first time when he joined St. Stephen's College as a student of history. He studied in college only for 1 year and then he left St. Stephen's to join universities overseas. Then I reconnected with him much later, and I don't want to go into details of personal contacts. What I want to do is as follows. Let me state that very clearly how I do this. Obviously, you know I have no political intention in doing this. I have only a spiritual interest in doing this with the youth of India because I believe that young people can learn something of value from Rahul Gandhi. This might surprise you, but that's a fact. And I do this video because I feel irresistibly drawn to doing it, in fact, irresistibly inspired and compelled to do this. It's a great tragedy that nationally we make a virtue of ridiculing that which is uniquely valuable. As a result, we do a great disservice to ourselves. We desecrate the beautiful, the sacred, and the most precious, and then fall in love with the trivial, the useless, and ultimately the malignant. And therefore, I'm sharing these thoughts, as I said at the outset, but especially with the youth of India, with a great sense of worry and concern. And I hope you will take my words in the spirit in which I share them with you. There are at least three things I commend about Rahul Gandhi to the youth of India. The first is self-confidence, which does not become arrogance. All of us know, everybody in India knows, how Rahul Gandhi was ridiculed by his political adversaries, whoever they are. I'm not bothered about that. He was ridiculed as nobody else has been ridiculed in the political history of India. He was called Papu. You can't possibly degrade a human being in public life more than this. I was watching this. Rahul never reacted to it. Never. Yes, once or twice he made a reference to it, but that is much later. At the time when he was being systematically, deliberately degraded in an orchestrated fashion, the abuse being stuck on him by 1,000 hands, he never reacted. What did he do instead? And this is precisely what I want to commend to the youth of India. See, what happens normally is somebody says something derogatory to you, you get very upset, and then you react, you lock into a quarrel, you lock horns with somebody. All this is unproductive. If somebody is trying to degrade your value, and somebody insults you, when Rahul Gandhi was called Papu, Papu is a worthless person, virtually a numb skull, mentally insufficient person, insufficiently endowed person, a person of no worth. When somebody degrades you, that person is trying to degrade your personal worth. What is the best way to cope with? What's the best way to react? What's the best way to deal with the situation? I think what Rahul Gandhi has done is the best way. He patiently proved his worth over a period of time. And I repeat, every word of this sentence I say with great deliberation and with great sense of purpose. He patiently proved his personal worth. Today, nobody will dare call him Papu. People took him very lightly, including his foremost political adversaries. Then one day, the opportunity came for Rahul Gandhi to speak in the parliament. I still remember that speech. That was the first time I was hearing him speak in the parliament, and I wrote an article on that speech. His political adversaries who thought no end of themselves were, and I'm using the word again very advisedly, they were rattled. I'm sure most of you recall that speech. Since then, much time has passed, and now I come to the most recent thing, which is his Bharat Jodo Yatra. Not just the fact that he undertook this extremely physically rigorous, arduous journey, covering an unimaginable stretch of time, putting up with personal privations and difficulties of various kinds. Many people thought he would not complete the journey. And what struck people, what captured the imagination of the people is the fact that he had only a t-shirt and a pair of trousers to beat the bitter chill of North Indian winter, particularly Delhi, UP, Punjab, Haryana, that kind of thing. And many were astonished. In fact, this astonished people to the extent that the Deputy Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh went to the extent of saying that he would constitute a team of doctors to find out why it is that Rahul Gandhi is not able to feel this bitter chill of winter. It astonished people. It has astonished me, because I am somebody who fled from Delhi just because of the severity of winter. If I could have coped with the winter in Delhi, I would have stayed on in Delhi. I would have been domiciled in Delhi. I came back to Kerala largely because Kerala's weather agrees with me much better. And secondly, in the course of the travel, the Bharat Jodo Yatra, Rahul Gandhi was consistently and deliberately articulating a political vision, creatively at variance with whatever Modi and his political camp are doing in this country. He talked about love at a time when great prestige is attached to hate and violence. He talked about Gandhian ideals at a time when Gandhi was being maligned and God say his assassin was being glorified. I'll come to that a little later. So, for the time being, I commend this to the youth of India, to stay focused on how to cope with adversities, how to cope with the malignancy that's being slapped on you. The best response is not to lock horns with your detractors, but to prove your worth and to continually increase your worth. Here I have to say that Rahul Gandhi, like his mother, and I have much to say about Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, like his mother, is a prodigious reader. In fact, BJP used to ridicule Sonia Gandhi by calling her a reader, not a leader, as though, according to the BJP, it's harmful for a leader to read, and the consequences are there for all to see. Yes, I can tell you that Sonia Gandhi was a prodigious and very precise, attentive reader. There was a time, soon after she became the president of the International Congress, she requested me to send her notes on various issues concerning the country. And I used to do that religiously. And she would read everything I wrote, everything I sent to her, and in fact would call for further explanations. And I don't think anyone else has read what I have written with greater attention and involvement than Sonia Gandhi. I used to call her Sonia Ji. And I consider it a very great personal privilege to have had great opportunities, many opportunities to interact extensively with her. And I tell you, I'm someone who entertains unlimited respect for her. Unlimited. You know, I don't exaggerate things. You know, I don't praise people. You've never heard me praise anyone. In fact, the charge against me always is that I'm critical of people. I can say this now without any inhibition because I moved away from Delhi. I have nothing to gain from anyone. Therefore, no ulterior or selfish motive can be attached to what I'm saying. I am today free to tell you the truth, and I bear witness to the truth. So stay focused on this first principle. How do you cope with adversity, particularly the malignant attempts to degrade you? Don't lock horns with your detractors. Increase your worth. Celebrate it. Let others experience the beauty and the greatness of it. That's the answer. There is no answer more beautiful, more convincing than this. Today, Rahul Gandhi, without entering into any argument or offering anything by way of self-defense, has shut up the mouths of his detractors. Nobody will ever utter that word about Rahul Gandhi, and I'm glad that it is so. That's point number one. Point number two. Something that strikes me is Rahul Gandhi's simplicity. And I could see that even way back when he was a student in St. Stephen's College. You know, his father was the Prime Minister of the country at that time. Great priorities attached to securing the personal security of the son of the Prime Minister. You know, if you have the son of a Prime Minister or even the Prime Minister of an ordinary cabinet minister studying in your college, you will have no end of headaches. Of course, there were large numbers for security men detailed to secure Rajiv Gandhi. And I used to be in touch with the chief security officer for Rahul Gandhi. He was a Govind Christian, and I was the chaplain of the college, so he used to come and see me. And he told me, without my having to ask him, he told me, "Sir, Rahul has instructed me very strictly that none of the security men should be seen on the campus. I am allowed to come, but nobody else sees." He says, "Rahul has instructed me clearly. I'm a student in St. Stephen's College, and nobody will be inconvenienced or embarrassed, even accidentally, on account of my being in St. Stephen's College." And I said, this is the truth. Do you think that children of any other politician will behave like this? That's Rahul Gandhi. That was Rahul Gandhi when he was a 19-year-old boy. Now you see the simplicity with which he lives. As I said, throughout the Bharat Jodo Yatra, when he was so consistently visible to the whole of India, he was clad in the simplest of manner. Of course, he does not rival Mahatma Gandhi, who was in a somewhat light-hearted manner, or rather somewhat contemptuously described by Winston Churchill as the naked fakir of India. No, Rahul Gandhi is not the naked fakir of India. He is a cleanly and modestly dressed fakir of India. I say this without any fear of contradiction. He is a cleanly and modestly clad fakir of India. Because I tell you, and time will prove me right, there is an ascetic spirit inside of Rahul Gandhi. And that is something that I greatly respect. Therefore, again, this is the second major principle that I offer through Rahul Gandhi to the youth of India. Cultivate a simple lifestyle. You live in an industrial commercial culture where the industry thrives, the markets thrive The corporate giants thrive by inflating your needs, by confusing your thinking about what you need and what you don't. In fact, people think that all that they desire constitute their needs. No, your needs are very limited. The expensive clothes that you wear add nothing to your personality. You are as valuable, as great, as worthy as your thinking is, as your heart is. Your personality has very little to do with what is external to your body. Everything must be inside of you. Rahul knows it. And therefore, you will never find him flaunting any expensive status symbols. He's a young man, even today. He's barely 50. He was 19, as I said, when he came to St. Stephen's College. He could have flaunted expensive cars, expensive clothes. He could have mesmerized people. In fact, nobody was even aware that Rahul Gandhi was in St. Stephen's College. You know this? So this strength, this inner strength, I'm particularly sensitive to this because this is a strength that I have consciously cultivated for myself, and I can bear witness to the lifelong benefits I have reaped from it. I could remain incorruptible because my needs are limited. And life taught me, in fact, Jesus Christ taught me, that simplicity is the seed of freedom. If you have expensive habits and you live beyond your means, you will be driven into corruption. You look at the corrupt people, they are also wasteful, criminally wasteful, because ill-gotten wealth has to leak, and it will leak in 1,000 ways. In 1,000 ways. So, Rahul Gandhi's simplicity, which pertains to the ascetic soul in him, is something as a source of strength that I commend to the youth of India. Imitate him, not Shah Rukh Khan, not Amitabh Bachchan. Imitate Rahul Gandhi, I tell you. The third principle, and with that I close. Rahul Gandhi is perhaps the most eligible bachelor in India. Why hasn't he married? This has become a big question. It's been discussed for a while. All kinds of uncharitable interpretations are also attached to it. There are some people who are so malignant within that they have to corrupt everything they touch. They're simply revealing who they are rather than revealing the truth of what they talk about. Rahul Gandhi, to the extent that he is inspired inwardly with a sense of purpose that concerns the country. See, if you're only thinking for yourself, then it's a different matter. Your choices are accordingly. For a person who wants to play a very constructive and redeeming role in the destiny of a country, it's very clear to him that his has to be a life of sacrifice. And I tell you that sacrifice is the one thing that no man should take for granted, either in a woman or in a man. You should never take the spirit of sacrifice granted to be obtained automatically simply because you have married that person, a woman, in Rahul's case. Simply because I have married this woman, she should have the sacrificial spirit. That is utter nonsense. To the best of my knowledge, Rahul Gandhi hasn't come across a woman who will be complimentary to him. I do know for a fact that he was friends with a girl, a very charming girl. But the good student of human nature that Rahul is, he studied her and found that her ways and tastes were expensive, wastefully expensive. Please remember these things. And Rahul concluded that it would be unwise and unfair on his part to marry her because he could not expect from her that the spirit of sacrifice would come spontaneously, unforced, uncoerced from her, which would be vital for him to continue his part, his tryst with the destiny of India, to borrow a phrase from his grandfather's great oration. Long ago we made a tryst with destiny, and now the time comes when we shall redeem our pledge. Not wholly or in full measure, but very substantially. At the stroke of midnight hour, when the whole world sleeps, India will awake to life and freedom. When the soul of a nation long suppressed shall find utterance. I used to learn Nehru's speeches by heart. You know this? I fell in love with his style. Of course, now I have outgrown that. That's why I can quote Nehru's text just like that. I don't need to open a book. So, the principle that I want to comment to you through Rahul Gandhi is be wise about spouse selection. When you select your life's partner, please pay attention to this. You have to first ask and answer a question for yourself. What do I want to do with my life? What is the purpose of my life? How else will you decide the issue of complementarity? All of us know that complementarity between the male and the female is the bedrock on which happy married relationships can be established. Complementarity is not a matter of liking the same outlet of eateries, or reading the same newspaper, or liking the same tourist destination, or liking the same dish. That's not complementarity. That's cheap complementarity. Meaningful complementarity is two people finding common grounds in expressing their personal destiny in tune with the larger destiny, either of a group of people, or in the case of men and women of greater scope, the destiny of a nation. As in the case of Narendra Modi, for example. Yes, he has this greater sense, larger sense of destiny, and nothing in the world will prevent me from acknowledging it, and I respect it. I may or may not agree with the way he goes about it, but I greatly respect the fact that he has a sense of destiny that goes beyond his narrow personal domain and makes him identified himself with India, the India of his dreams. He is pursuing the India of his dreams. So, I have disagreements with the details of it, but that's a different matter. So today, my friends, to the young people, I've suggested 3 basic strengths. I hope you'll continue to ponder over this. Let me summarize them very briefly in bullet points. First is, how do we cope with adversaries, especially those who want to degrade your personal worth? I said, based on Rahul Gandhi's strategy, do not fight them directly, because the more you fight them, the more degraded you become, because in a fight you get dragged down to their levels. What you do is, you continue to increase your personal worth. God will give you the right moment to celebrate that worth, and that will make the whole world look at you with wonder and amazement. As in fact, indeed, it has happened in the case of Rahul Gandhi, and I praise God for it. The second principle that I commended to you, the second strength that I have commended to you, again based on or derived from the life of Rahul Gandhi, is cultivate the strength of simplicity. Third, mind the principle of complementarity when you make spouse selections. So, it's high time we started talking about Rahul Gandhi, and that's what I'm doing today. Now, maybe I should say one thing more before I close. As all of us know, an orchestrated attempt is being made to degrade not only Rahul Gandhi but also Mahatma Gandhi. Well, the time is not yet ripe and ready for some people to launch an orchestrated tirade against Mahatma Gandhi. But it's being done in an insidious fashion by romanticizing, eulogizing, God say his murderer. Now, it's a very clever strategy. The best way, according to a certain line of thinking, to degrade Mahatma Gandhi is by glorifying his murderer. Now, if his murderer is a great icon, then his victim has to be an enemy of the country. You understand the logic? While this is going on, I tell you today that the spirit of the Mahatma is waking up through a young man called Rahul Gandhi. Remember these words. Ponder on these words and watch for the meaning of what I am saying to unfold in the days ahead. I wish all of you not just one blessed day, but many blessed days, weeks, months, years, and decades ahead. Let's stay together and let's stay young in the spirit. Thank you.